Work friends are not really your friends. I'm sorry to burst that little bubble, but to be completely transparent with you, many friendships in life are not really friendships. But particularly work. Work is one of those things where so many people I know, even people that have been bullied at work, they think that like people generally at work are their friends and everyone's like best friends and they go out and have like work drinks and therefore they're all best friends. I'm sorry, that's just not true. Work is one of those really strange environments where if you're just anything different, and what I mean by different is if you're, for example, really bad at your job. So say there's an average level of competency in a job, and say that you're worse in that job, for example. You're just not as good at whatever it is. You're obviously a horrible, lazy, terrible individual, you know? How dare you be bad at your job? Humans have to be productive 100% of the time at all times because otherwise you're useless. So if you're bad at your job, you're a waste of space according to society and the world. So horrible, horrible. How dare someone be different? But then here's the flip side. If you're good at your job, it's not like, well, okay, you're good at your job, fantastic. It's also the opposite. You're good at your job, suddenly it's, oh, you're making the rest of us look bad. Oh, now, I've got so many stories in my life and other people's lives where this has happened. If you do well in your job, you're essentially making a lot of people insecure, particularly older people. They tend to get very insecure when you do well in your job. And of course, if they were really your work friends, they would be totally happy that you're doing well in your jobs. But no, they're not. I know this guy from high school, and he was one of those people who could do assignments really, really fast. He could write essays. Everything he could do really quickly. He's just really academically fast. He gets this job, and he starts off entry level, and he gets promoted very, very quickly, which in itself makes people insecure. But he got promoted many times. He got to a point where what was happening was he was doing things so quickly. He was filling out spreadsheets, and he was using emails, like sending emails very quickly. Without AI, by the way, he was doing this all himself. And basically a whole bunch of people got really annoyed at him and started, making complaints that he was typing too quite fast and he changed the font of his email and all these weird things just to try and mess with him. But the biggest thing that happened was he had this manager that he used to like have lunch with. Oh, we're best friends because he takes me out to lunch on a Wednesday. Like, okay. Probably uses the company's card, but whatever. I don't even know. The point is, he takes him out to lunch, so apparently he's best friends. That's logical, isn't it? Oh, my best friend, obviously. Anyway, so this same manager had a go at him so many times because he was doing things too quickly. It makes him look bad. He literally said those words, makes me look bad. And, he got yelled at one point as well. And then, like I said, a lot of people putting complaints and things to try and mess with him so he wouldn't work so quickly. I thought to myself, like, if you really were best friends with your manager or whatever, or your coworkers, then you'd all be trying to help each other do well. Like everyone I've been friends with, like actually legitimately friends with, we want each other to do well. That's normal, I think, for friendships. But some people are like fake in this. A lot of people are fake in this world and actually hate friends. So many female friends. I've seen this so many times where like women will pretend to like a person and then they actually hate that person. I've known certain female friends. I have seen them. Like someone comes up and talks to them and they're all like laughing and talking. And then as soon as that woman goes away, she'll be like, oh, that person hates me. And like all these weird, and men do it too. And so this guy, he was told off many, many times to the point where he's now like insecure about his emails. Oh, I'm going too fast and his spreadsheets and just all this really boring crap that, work people do, a horrible, boring conversation. But the thing is, he was so he didn't know what to do because he's a naturally fast worker. It's like unnatural for him to go slowly. And so the point is he was ostracized at his job that he apparently was so good at, and it just proves my point, I know this other guy and he's an engineer, but when he was a student as an engineer, he did like a summer job in Australia where he was stacking forklift like crates onto each other in like a warehouse. And so he is actually an immigrant from Nigeria. So he came in like international student and did all these things. And, but anyway, I'm not sure but basically he had this like warehouse job, and I don't know how exactly that worked, but a whole bunch of people that were locals that had worked there for years, legitimately, physically, like ganged up, stood in front of him and were like, you're making the rest of us look bad, because he was stacking these things very, very quickly, and he was literally doing the job like in half the time. And so the leader of this group that harassed him actually threw a punch and hit him in the face. Now he's a really big guy, thick neck, and the punch didn't even hurt him. And most people can't throw a punch, by the way. Like most people actually can't. I do a lot of boxing, so I'm like really aware of this. Most people actually don't throw that good of a punch. But the thing is, this guy threw a punch and it didn't hurt him. But like the fact is, he was physically assaulted at work for literally just doing his job well. Like it wasn't like this guy wasn't the type of guy to bother anyone. I'm telling you, like he just did his job and left. Like he was an engineer. Like he was harassed for that, I know this other story from 40 years ago, 40, like a long time ago, 4 decades ago. This guy I know was working as a train carriage cleaner. And apparently at work, they all agreed, this is what apparently happened, they all agreed to only clean 3 carriages per hour. Because apparently if you clean 10, they're gonna assign more work. And they sort of came up to this deal at the workplace that everyone was gonna only work 3, and then they were gonna spend like an hour chilling and like basically so no one would look better than the other, and it was all strategic. And I thought, this is what workplaces do. It's like, because in the capitalist mindset, it's like, well, everyone's so productive. It's like, well, no, people don't. People get angry at you if you work too hard. People pretend to clean 3 carriages when they can clean 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, people physically punch people for working too hard under a capitalist system. So it's not like, I don't have the answers, by the way. I'm just explaining my view and my feelings about life. But if in capitalism, it's supposed to be this thing where like everyone's so efficient and does everything proper, but then this guy literally gets punched for doing something proper. You understand? Like, the world is such a stupid, flawed place, and it's a huge competition. Everyone's competing for, I want to be the one who looks good, and so this world is so depressing, to be honest. But the key takeaway for this video is that work friends are not probably really your friends. Now, obviously, there's probably some crazy exception. As I said, like, someone probably is best friends with their coworker, and if you're one of those people, you're probably not. Maybe you're watching this video, I don't know, but it's very unlikely. The thing is, you're lucky. You're in the minority, because most people, in my experiences, I mean, you leave a job, for example, and then suddenly they delete your Facebook and LinkedIn. This happened to lots of people, by the way. This isn't just me. And they don't want to know you anymore. It's like, okay, we were best friends in the office. Now you don't like me anymore. It's like, I've seen this so many times. It's just not even, because the work is an artificial environment. Like, you have to be there to make money. Otherwise you can't eat food, And so you're in this environment where you have to get along with people, because, if you don't, and then... So of course people are going to be fake nice to you, because it's like socially the right thing to do, if that makes sense. Because in the group, people want to be seen as, what I've found with people is they want to be seen as being a good person, but then behind the scenes, they want to harass people. That's what I've found. And so really work friends, they're not really often your friends, to be honest. And like work, you're there because you want the money. Like, unless you're someone that like, you're doing the absolute passion. Like, I've known people who are like social workers, and it's like really something they're really in. That's fantastic. I really like people who do something like they really love, It's wonderful to see. But they might be best friends with their coworkers because they're both doing something they really love. And that, I get that, to be honest. Or like that, firefighters might have camaraderie because they've just put out a fire. I get that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but what I'm saying is, a lot of the time, jobs are just things that you do because you need money. Like, you apply for 100 jobs and you just take whatever you can get, to be honest, in some office. And like those situations, most people don't have the dream job, to be honest. And like, you might be working in retail or whatever, and you're with people because they just want money as well. You're all just there in this stupid competitive world to try and make money, because everyone wants money, and like people pretend they don't want money, but people want money. And the point is, you're surrounded by people, and you have to sort of try and fit in a workplace. And in the real world, like outside the workplace, I can be my loud, funny self, and it doesn't matter, because it's just, who cares? But when you're in a workplace, I can't be too loud. I can't be too this. I can't be too quiet, because that's bad. Can't be too loud, because then if I make people laugh, some people get insecure. Oh, he's funny. I don't like. People are just so fickle. I've studied anthropology, and we talked about evolution in my class, and humans are like chimpanzees. We have these like emotional, we get jealous. Like, if you know a lot about primatology, you'll notice that chimpanzees, they do get very hierarchical and jealous and all sorts of things, and humans do the same stuff. We like to say, no, we're sophisticated, we're humans, we're not like those stupid monkeys, we are so smart. But I hope the point I was making in this video came across, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.